Afternoon. Welcome back from lunch. This is the worst time to be a speaker, worst time to be an MC. Our mission is to try and keep you awake with interesting content, which I'm sure we have. And our first speaker, startup pitch, command and control solutions for the construction industry. And speaking to us today is Mr. Omri Surek. Thank you. Give him a big hand.
Hi, everyone, and thank you very much for staying with us today. It's a great pleasure and an honor presenting to you. We've been invited by His Highness and His Excellency. This is the second year we take part in a convention and in a conference hosted by them. My name is Omri Surek. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Trustor. I'm a fifth generation to a proud builders and construction family. And in my generation, we wanted to take it to the next step, bringing digital abilities into the construction site environment. If you may, please share the video, and we'll take it from there.
Our world is changing. Technology is becoming a key component in our everyday life. Construction sites are among the most complex production floors in the industrious world. In this large and hectic working environment, it's nearly impossible to fully utilize all resources and maintain proper process flow. The industry is adopting new technologies, enabling more efficient, faster, and safer operations to produce higher quality construction at a reduced cost. Trustor is a next-generation command and control system powered by real-time location and site condition sensors. By providing a clear and up-to-date status of the project, Trustor creates a safer and more productive working environment. Trustor designed its solution to assist site management without creating additional overhead to their already intensive daily operations. Trustor uses its unique IoT devices to gather valuable data from the construction site. Designed for the construction industry, the components do not require any external power source nor communication network, making it a plug-and-play solution. The system conveys data, insights, alerts, and resource locations using an intuitive real-time dashboard, thus maximizing site visibility. The system immediately boosts productivity and enhances overall safety while accelerating the response time between unplanned events and management awareness. This increased efficiency helps prevent delays in schedules and provide substantial financial savings, at the same time allowing the on-site managers to better allocate their attention. The change is now. Give your managers the Trustor advantage. Use Trustor. Trustor, boosting productivity and safety.
Being a fifth generation to construction and builders family gave me the insights that we see a decrease in profit margins. When every other industry is becoming more profitable, more efficient, construction suffers from a decrease in productivity and a decrease in profit margins. We integrated technology into the construction site, making it digital, making it easy to understand where everything is and what needs to take care of. We provide construction site management with the ability to see, understand in real time, and deal with the issues that needs to be dealt with, all while keeping people safe in construction sites. Seeing the different chains and the different functions and the different stakeholders in construction sites, you see the chain of value and the impact that could be created from workers, subcontractors, general contractors, developers, insurance companies, and even tool and equipment manufacturers. Everyone has something to gain from understanding and collecting data. Data is key. Enable construction site collecting data, analyze it, and provide what we call construction intelligence. I would love to speak with any of you that think this solution might be relevant for them, and of course, share our perspective and how we want to change the world. Thank you so much.
If translation is needed, you can scan the card here. Our next guest is going to give us a master class in privacy and security. He was the moderator on yesterday. So let's welcome to the stage Dexter Caffey.
Thank you all so much for being here today. We're very excited. I'm Dexter Caffey, and this is my partner, Avi Ram. I'm the founder of Smart Technology. So we're going to show you some pretty interesting things that we've worked on for the last several years, and we're pretty much excited about some of the new features that we're going to show each and every one of you today. So one of the things that we focused on in building our software is privacy. Privacy, or you can say it how my friends in the UK say the word privacy, privacy, or however you want to say it. One of the things that we all want is that privacy. And when I actually came up with the idea of Smart Technology, I was actually at an event in Israel about 3 years ago. And I was at a cybersecurity event, and what happened was I was standing next to this cybersecurity expert. And as we were talking, I noticed something. When I looked over his shoulder and I saw his laptop, I saw documents on his laptop screen. I saw Word documents, I saw PDF documents, and a thought hit my mind. Why should I see any document on this guy's laptop? I said, it's none of my business. And I thought to myself, I said, what if we could create an app called Smart Technology that would block the entire screen when you looked at a document on my screen, because it only recognizes just my face through facial recognition, but when it sees yours, it'll block the entire screen. So I remember talking to this one doctor, and as I walked around the park with him, I just told him my idea for the first time. He's the first person I ever told the idea to. And he was a medical doctor. He said, Dexter, that's the dumbest idea I ever heard in my life. And I was really hurt because I just thought about it and it was crazy. So what happened was I actually reached out to a development company in Israel and I said, can you help me actually create my software? So he said, sure. So I said, how long will it take? And they said, it'll take 90 days. I said, how much will it cost me? They said $50,000. And I didn't have it. I said, $50,000. I said, so I reached out to an investor friend of mine, and he actually said, yes, I'll meet you for lunch, Dexter, and let's talk about what you were interested in doing. So I met with him, and we sat down for lunch, and I told him I wanted to create software that'll shut off if you looked at my screen. And he said, that sounds interesting, but I'm an 80-year-old person. What do you want from me? I said, listen, I need $50,000 today. And he said, so you want me to be the first individual who actually invests in this idea? And I said, yes. He said, okay. So he actually loaned me the money. And so we actually began the program and creating our software 3 years ago. And so what we built out over the last 3 years is a multi-level biometric platform that allows you to access documents using your face, your voice, and your fingerprint first before the document opens up to you. And in that same time period, we actually partnered with several companies in order to do this. We actually partnered with Samsung over the past 6 months, and we partnered with Adobe as well. We also partnered with another company called Absolute Software as well over the past several months. So we've actually built really great relationships with a lot of corporations in order to help get our software out in the marketplace. And one of the most interesting things is that when you think about leaks inside of corporations, over 95% of the leaks that happen inside of an organization come from the employees inside of that organization. So the problem is, most organizations can't stop the leaks. Smart actually stops that by making the documents being tracked on every single document. No matter what document it is, we track it. We track exactly if it was downloaded, if it was shared, or if it was deleted. So we know everything about that document inside the Smart Technology app.
From vision to reality. So in the next few slides, I'm going to share with you how Smart Eye technology going to change the way you're going to protect files using password and identify user in your personal life and in your business. First, onboarding. We need to identify the user. So what we are doing, we are sharing a link to the user mobile. You're going to open it with the web app. We're going to ask him to take a picture of his ID, passport, drive license. We aggregate all the data from his ID, including the picture. Then we ask him to take a selfie, to do face recognition. So we compare between the selfie to the picture that we aggregate. At the same time, we are using unique technology to do liveness check, to see that it's not a picture or a video. Once the system confirms that this is the user, welcome, you are part of Smart Eye family. The next step, you actually can share and protect file with Smart Eye technology. Smart Eye File Protector, this is the highlight of the technology of Smart Eye. In this technology, in this application, we are using two main features. One is continuational recognition. What does it mean? It means that we identify the user while using the application. So if it's you, all the time, you can watch the file. If you move from the screen, we're going to hide the screen. The second feature, we avoid multiple users. It means that if you have one more detect picture on your mobile, we actually hide the screen, and we're going to have some alerts that you have multiple viewers. To better understand what we are doing, Dexter will show live demo.
This is one of the most exciting things that we created inside of Smart Eye technology. So basically, can you go to that screen, Alvaro? And so basically what happens is, when you actually open up the Smart Eye technology app, it verifies my face, and we'll show you that in 1 second here. It'll verify my face, and what happens is the actual document pops up. So what happens right now, you probably can't see on the screen there, but the actual document pops up there. So I need a volunteer real quick here. Sir in the gray suit, do you mind coming up? Can you mind coming up for a second? Yeah. Now, I want you to stand right there right now in front of me. Now, I want you to now look at the document. Tell me, what do you see?
Warning sign, multiple viewers.
Exactly, warning sign, multiple viewers. And so we see a screen snooper. We call those people screen snoopers, the people who are actually looking at documents on the screen. So we call those screen snoopers. So watch what happens when he walks away. Walk away. It opens back, come right back again. So here I am looking at this private document, and here he comes again, a screen snooper. He looks right over my shoulder, bam, shut it off. So every single time that's another face, thank you so much, appreciate it. Every time another face looks at my document, it automatically blocks it. So even if I want to go get some coffee, let's say that coffee's out there really good. So I said, I want to go get some coffee. I'm going to put my phone down. Right now it's scanning my face. What do you see up there? Away from phone. It no longer detects my face anymore. So even when my face is not in front of the my camera, it'll shut it down. So now I put it back in front of my face again. It pops right back open to me. And one of the really unique things that we did inside of the Smart Eye technology platform was to actually create a location called settings. So inside the settings, and this is one of the things I love the most, inside the settings, you can actually control who has access to your documents. In other words, it's my document. I don't want you doing whatever you want in my document. And so here I can control if you can download my document. I can control if you can share my document. I can actually control how long you have access to my document, whether it's 24 hours, 48 hours, or 72 hours, or a whole year. It's my document. I take full control of that document. So this is what Smart Eye technology does in order to help you. And so one of the key areas, you got that there? Okay. Minimize the screen. So we use what's called continuous facial recognition. In other words, we want to make sure that at all times we are continually identifying the individual every second that that person is from the document. So at the end of the day, again, it's your document, it's privacy that you want to actually happen for the documents you send. Think about it. If you send, let's say, somebody an email, you don't want that email to go to 50 people. You sent it to just that one person, and you want just that one person to have access to it. Well, when you send an email, even if you put the word confidential on it, or if you put a password on it, that's 1990s technology. The world has changed. So Smart Eye technology is actually changing the world by showing you we don't need any of that right now. We have no passwords inside of Smart Eye. We don't have any usernames inside of Smart Eye. And right now, Aviram is going to show you exactly one of the newest features we just created inside the Smart Eye technology app.
First of all, it's important to emphasize that a lot of people ask us about how easy it is to copy this technology. So it's important to say that it's a patent register, so nobody can copy our technology. One more feature that is really nice that we launched recently is about the biometric signature. We are the only company that doing biometric signature that you can define the level of security. It means that you can say the combination of technology will be face recognition plus voice recognition, and then the user can sign his signature on the document, and you can share it without meeting face to face. I'm happy to share with you about the two features that we're going to launch in the next 3 months. The first is Smart Eye Defender. Smart Eye Defender have the same technology as the Smart Eye protected of the file, but for website, for application, and for computer. It means that Smart Eye going to protect your data. So all your data in the organization going to protect by Smart Eye technology. One more feature that will be really, really nice for big organization, it's the single sign-on. Today, employee working with several systems, several applications, and they need to log in every time, to use username and password every time that they are using this application. With Smart Eye technology, because we are doing continuation recognition, is open for you, and you can move from one application to other. It's really secure, and the user experience is great. The last feature that I'm going to share with you is about the password vault. Research shows that the average people can remember between 3 to 5 passwords, but actually we are using more than 20. That means that we repeat the same password again and again and again. It means that hacker, when they hack our application, they need to hack one application, and then everything is open. The gateway to our life and our application is password. And in Smart Eye, we understand it. This is why we create the Smart Eye Vault, that it's really easy to access. You don't need to use password. The only thing that you need to do is to define the combination of technology with biometric, and we're going to show you this application. So how does it work? You're going to say what are the combination of technology and biometric you want to use. Then we're going to generate really hard password to remember. And once you are doing face recognition, automatically we're going to log in to this specific website, system, and etc.
And finally, you can't conquer the world by yourself. You need help. You need investors. We want you as investors to help us change the world one screen at a time, with privacy and security being the main element. Thank you for watching the Smart Eye Technology presentation today.
Smart Eye, thank you for that interesting presentation. For someone who got locked out of my bank account for 2 days in a row and had to go to the bank each morning, I'll be glad when that becomes effective. Get rid of passwords. So thank you for that presentation. Our next presentation is sustainability as the necessity for humanity. Faisal Sajwani is the moderator, and can the full panel come to the stage now? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. See some fresh faces over here, especially after lunch. I think everyone is a bit tired, but the conversation today is about sustainability, which is a big part of the Vision 2040. So I guess this would be a good refresher to have people back on track after a long day. So I'd like to invite my fellow panelists, Pedro Pereira, to the stand, and Michael Turpin, along with Vikram Shroff. So, sustainability as the necessity for humanity. This conversation is long overdue, actually. We have quite a great mind sitting in panelists. Starting off, I would like each of my fellow panelists to introduce briefly about themselves, minding in time that we only have 20 minutes, so we'll have to proportion between. But I'm sure that we're going to have a marvelous discussion and a lot to talk about. So, Pedro, I give you the spotlight.
Well, Faisal, thank you for the invitation. For all of you, good afternoon. For my fellow panelists, good afternoon. My name is Pedro Pereira. I'm the head of sustainability and ESG innovation strategy for SAP. It's a big software company that have in its customers 85% of the largest emitters of carbon in the portfolio. So the reason why I'm here, we have a responsibility. And I felt that in my heart. Just like the air you're breathing right now, and we are breathing right now, that's our mission in the business community, to help companies, Faisal, to make a difference and do less harm.
Well said, well said. So we move on to Michael, if you can give us a brief about you.
Sure. My name is Michael Turpin. I'm with Transform Ventures, and the reason I'm on this panel is currently my most interesting and notable investment that I'm honored to be chairman and investor of, which is SDG Exchange. It's the world's first 24/7, 365 carbon credit marketplace. Think NASDAQ for carbon credits. Hasn't existed before. It's existing on blockchain, permissioned blockchain, and right now there are compliance markets where governments basically say a couple times a year, here's what we're going to pay, and you either take it or leave it. And these things called voluntary markets, where you basically have numbers of brokers in a broken system where somebody's trying to buy carbon for $60 in Europe and $40 in Australia, and someone's trying to sell it for $5 in Ohio, and they can't find each other. And so we've solved this. Jason Kuhner, our CEO, made a presentation earlier, and we'll be around at the gala, et cetera. And we're excited. We went live this month. And we have both an OTC trading platform. We have a market that's looks like, you know, NASDAQ or Charles Schwab, bid ask. And the token that it represents never leaves the blockchain, so it's not a cryptocurrency. It basically is permissioned, so it cannot be manipulated. And when you buy it, you're 85% of the emitters, when you know, we need to talk afterwards, when they go in and say, I need 100,000 carbon credits so that I can get down to carbon neutral. Well, on the way in, make sure that they're not greenwashing, that they're actually validated by third parties. And on the way out, they retire them. We pop up an NFT. They can go and show it to their government. They can even put it on their digital wall. And so I'm very excited about that. And the third product is we now have 7 governments that we're helping make their own more efficient, compliant markets at a profit instead of a cost.
All right, Michael, thank you for the introduction. We move on to Vikram.
Hi. So I represent UPL. UPL is the global leader in organic agriculture. So we operate in 138 countries, selling organic inputs to farmers across the world. We also are in traditional agriculture, traditional agrochemicals. We see a great opportunity for carbon capture, for reducing the carbon footprint of agriculture, because 25% of greenhouse gases come from agriculture. And we have some very exciting technologies, ideas, and initiatives in that space. Thank you.
All right, so starting off with the first question in the panel to Pedro, we know that companies are struggling with sustainability reporting, and it's been a challenge to them. So, in your opinion, what are the guiding principles for sustainability reporting?
Faisal, I'm glad you asked that question. But first, I want to address all of you and ask you a question. What is sustainability? How would you answer that question yourself? The way I see sustainability is a network game. The emissions of my suppliers are my scope 3 emissions. And my emissions becomes the emissions of my customers. And Faisal, that's why it's so hard to deal with reporting. Scope 1 emission is about the data that you collect from your own operations, your facilities, your manufacturing. That's in your control. Scope 2 emissions will be the energy you purchase. Still in your control. You can change for renewable energy and you can reduce your footprint. And just like I said, scope 3 emissions. Is it about the downstream from your suppliers and the upstream from the product life cycle? Now, having said that, I can talk to you about reporting. When we approach reporting, we need to make sure ESG, environment, social, and governance, is in one place. And with that, there are different perspectives for reporting that's now coming to a standard from the World Economic Forum. Number 1, planet. Information about your impact on the planet. Number 2, people. The impact you have across all the stakeholders you deal with. Number 3, it's about prosperity. It's the old formula of maximizing value for shareholders. But what's different this time is that we do it responsibly. And underneath all of that, to make reporting work, we need governance. Governance for sustainability change an important principle for doing business. And I like your example about incorporating SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, in our operations. It means that you not only add value to your shareholders, but also you add value to the planet and to the people, what they call the triple bottom line. Accounting for the triple bottom line require an entire transformation of your business processes and the way you procure from your suppliers. So to finalize my question, sustainability reporting done right is more than the data you bring into the report. What matters will be the actions behind the disclosure of the report. And that needs data. Everything you do will require metadata for social, environmental impact. And that's the direction we see our customers going. They need to go beyond just basic reporting and greenwashing with annual reporting. They need real-time data from procurement to the delivery of the product and service. Does that answer your question?
It covers up pretty much all of it. Yes, I guess the common thing that we keep on hearing is greenwashing, and in order for us to explain better and play an active role in society on sustainability, we need to be able to have certain guidelines on how to report on sustainability. So a lot of these companies out there are not aware of which type of guidelines to follow. So hopefully we will soon enough be able to make a great impact and have them.
Well, that's what the Paris Agreement was for. And under Kyoto, it was voluntary and it was a little bit fuzzy. And that's where a lot of people got away with greenwashing, because they'd say, oh, yes, we're polluters, but we just bought 300,000 carbon credits. ... Completely unverified. They've been sold to 15 other people before. We paid like 10 cents a piece, but we sound like we're doing something good. What's nice is under Paris, Articles 6 through 9, now that it's an agreement and not just an accord, and it's going to come into full compliance in 2022, including 200 banks, not just 183 countries, are going to go and say, you're going to need a climate score if you're going to get a good, not just the Dow Jones, but a climate score to get a good rate on a loan. You may even get turned down on a loan because you're too much of a polluter. Now, obviously, the perfect way is what you described, of going in and actually lowering your pollution to where you get a negative or a neutral score. For some industries, shipping, aerospace, it's going to take a while. So the next best thing, which has been in development since really before Kyoto with California cap and trade, is saying, well, at least let's tax these polluters by making them support non-polluting and, in fact, projects like regenerative agriculture that will actually lower climate change. And that's where you have the offsets. That's where you have someone who lowers and creates the metric ton of carbon that's a carbon credit, which, by the way, is going to map to all other 16 SDGs. It gets purchased, and you can very quickly, and it's not greenwashing, you can verifiably lower your impact on the environment by enabling these other projects to help the environment. And that's really what we're all about. And we're excited about the opportunity. It's $100 billion a year right now, and only $10 billion of it is actually active. So that's a really fast-growing market.
All right. So, Michael, I recently read a report by Camden, and they released a report stating that blockchain is going to be a major game enabler when it comes to impact investing. So how can blockchain contribute exactly to sustainability?
Sure. There's a number of areas. I guess the one that I'd focus on is provenance and accountability. So any type of blockchain or DLT that you can show is not manipulated and can be read by anybody in the world, you can then see that it's a real carbon credit, and it hasn't been. In our case, we have it where we validate in KYC the provider, so you can see the provenance that this came from a farm in Alabama, and it had a satellite imagery to show how much carbon was sequestered. It was then third-party validated by Gold Standard, by Vera, by some of the top registries and validators that the UN certifies, that we have relationships, signed agreements with all of those. And at that point, we spit out a fungible token called an ITMO. ITMO, Internationally Transferred Mitigation Outcome. That is what's in the Paris Agreement, like 70 times or something, as the term that is going to eventually map everything to 1 metric ton of carbon. I'm not quite sure how they're going to map improving women's rights or lowering poverty to carbon, but they're working on it. And since carbon's so easy to measure, I know right now methane, if you sequester methane, they give you 23 carbon credits, or ITMOs. And so market after market, we're going to run them through effectively our NASDAQ for the system. The ITMOs are fungible. Think of a tether that's not on a crypto marketplace. We mint the tokens on our permission blockchain once we have 1 metric ton of carbon, and then we burn them once a buyer like Chevron or Maersk wants to retire them. If they don't retire them, they can't just put them on a crypto exchange. They stay forever on our permission exchange until they want to retire them, or if they want to resell them to someone else.
on our little walled garden, and we get another fee for that.
Right, thank you for the great insight. So we move on to Vikram, agriculture. It should be interesting, a different aspect. So what are some of the trends in sustainable agriculture worldwide?
So there's two observations. First, Michael, you have said a point that's very correct. Recently, our company got $750 million loan at preferential rates because we lead our industry on SDG by FTSE, Dow Jones, and Sustainalytics. So the high rating, the investments that we have done over the years gives us preferred loan rates, which is fantastic, and it's being recognized. Second, I think that 25% of carbon pollution comes from agriculture, 40% of arable land is used in agriculture, and 70% of all fresh water in the world goes in agriculture. So any reform in agriculture will have a fantastic impact. Second, it will allow the farmer to earn money through the carbon bonds. So this is a fantastic opportunity for us. And I'll give you one example. We come from India, and everybody knows Delhi has a lot of smog because the farmers around burn 5 million acres of crop between transition from one crop to another because they have less time and it's the easiest thing to do. So my company, UPL, has taken the lead, and this year we will be working with the farmers on 500,000 acres where we have got our sprayers, 700 of them lined up, and the minute the farmer harvests, we come in and spray our biological product that mulches the crop and puts it back in the soil. He rotates the soil only once or twice, and normally he has to do it 5 times. He doesn't burn it, so he doesn't lose nutrition. He doesn't kill the earthworms and all the microbes that are healthy. And I'm very, very happy to share with you that the project is only for 20 days because the farmer only has 20 days. We've already done 120,000 acres as of today. The first year target is to do 500,000. Next year would be 2.5 million, and finally all 5 million. And that will make the air around Delhi clean. Now this is one private company doing it on our own with simple technologies. So this is one opportunity.
Well, regenerative agriculture, and this is really core to what SDG Exchange is doing too. Jason's background is in markets and in technology, but it's also, since he's been a little kid, he's been passionate about agriculture, regenerative agriculture. I encourage everyone here to watch the movie. It's on Netflix by my friend Josh Tikel, who's also close to the project, called Kiss the Ground. Yeah. And it explains that of all the technologies out there, you know, solar and wind can lower the impact on the environment, but only regenerative agriculture can reverse climate change. It can actually sequester more carbon than would be created.
Yeah. And I'll speak 30 seconds more. Just, you talked about methane. Most of the methane comes from cows and from rice cultivation. And by giving the cows different probiotics, like what we take, we can reduce methane. Second, by doing different practices in rice, we can reduce the methane coming out of rice. So fantastic ideas, fantastic opportunities, and I see a great future. Thank you.
Just one last comment from my side. It's very important we incorporate sustainability across business processes. When you share your story about your loan, what's going to happen next is that the granularity of the information that will be required to comply with the criteria from impact investing, green bonds, and all those requirements out there will go lower and lower. And the amount of standards will be plenty. Therefore, if you don't have in your business process, from procurement, from the way you manufacture, you prepare yourself, you design for circularity, if you don't have traceability of your product, like we just spoke here, it's going to be very hard to keep the license to operate, either threatened by investors or government, just like the UAE just announced the net zero goal by 2050. That will come for sure with regulation.
You might want to mention TCFD coming up as well.
Absolutely. The TCFD will be major. And if you do business with Europe, you have the carbon adjustment, the carbon border tax. So there's no way back. So if you're listening to us right now, you have an organization, you run business processes, you better think how to make profitability sustainable and sustainability profitable, because that's the future.
That's a great way to conclude our discussion. Thank you very much, my fellow panelists. It's been quite an insightful discussion, and if anyone of the audience wants to have a conversation, then you can catch, I'm sure, during a coffee break. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great for the earth once we get that put in place. At least we're moving in the right direction. Our next panel is Man and Machines, How the Future of AI is About People. And leading that panel, Ms. Dina Beljafla, Managing Director, UAE for Accenture, Middle East, Board Member and Vice President of Women in Aviation, Middle East, Board Member in Emirates Business Women's Council, and has held many senior level positions in the UAE. Her Excellence, may you now come to the stage.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to such an amazing summit. It's a pleasure to be here. I would like to introduce my speakers for today. On Zoom, we have Mr. Michael Trapani joining us, who is the VP of Marketing at Elemental Cognition. Previously, held leadership positions in Apple, IBM, and several startups. Also on Zoom, we have Angelo Dalli, who is currently the CEO of Omani, working in AI for the past 20 years with many publications. Previously, entrepreneur with 4 major IPOs and mergers in Norway, Greece, and Malta. We also have joining us here Mr. Ravindra Venjamwari, who is the CEO of Amal, which is a happiness specialist. He's been in AI for 2 decades. Today, artificial superintelligence, using ASI with music to heal and empower people with autism. And last but not least, Mr. Oded Eliashiv, founding and managing partner at Built Up Partners. He's working on a fund investing in deep technology with underlying technology used in AI and ML. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and start with Mr. Oded. What is the value of AI as part of an investment fund focusing to include PMF and scalability, please?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here. It's my pleasure. From a fund perspective, when you look into investing in early stage, and that's actually what we are doing, is understanding that, that if we do look into deep tech companies, especially in the early stage, and that are into AI, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, augmented reality, and so forth, obviously, it has an ability to scale. But before that, I just want to mention a few words regarding product market fit, because when you go and invest in a company, one crucial thing is to understand that the market really needs a product. A lot of instances, companies come over to the fund and have great ideas, great technologies, great solutions, but there's not really a fundamental need in the market, or maybe not a big enough addressable market. So basically, if you do have a product market fit, and you have a very sustainable and significant aspect of deep technology within the solution of the company, which can include, among other, artificial intelligence. It may take more time to develop, but at the end of the day, it will be more sustainable and will be able to get much more access to the market, and scalability, of course, is much more better in that cases.
Building on what you've just said, what is the value of AI in successful implementation and scalability?
Well, basically, you know, when you look into investing into a company, and we're looking how the product and solution we're looking into can really do a disruption in the markets. And if you want to see something that will really be able to be happening within a certain time frame and not within 10 or 20 years, then you have to have the ability for scalability. So the underlying technology, which enables the integration into the market and has the ability to scale, it's a very important factor.
In your view, how will this create a difference of investing in deep tech between companies and startups that don't implement deep technology? Sorry, what is the difference in investing in deep tech companies versus startups that do not implement the deep technology?
Well, I think the numbers speak for themselves. If you look at statistics of startups, the fail rate, you can look something around 70% of companies that fail. They don't have the right kind of product market fit. Okay, and if you do have the product market fit and you do have a sustainable deep technology that is the underlying of the product and solution, the success is much higher, because it's much more structured and has the ability to provide a structured solution that can really scale fast and quick into the markets. So it does take more time to develop. You do need a very strong executive team of R&D people. This is something where, I come from Israel, and Israel is very well known for its deep tech capacities. So it may require more capital. It may require a bit more time at the beginning stages, but the fail rate, if executed in the right manner and fashion, will be able to achieve much more success, and the return on investment for the investors will be much quicker and much higher. And we can see that there's a trend in that, and you see much more unicorns coming out based on deep tech companies. You see, for instance, Israel now is, I think, per capita, is the #1 nation in the world for unicorns companies. And deep tech has a lot to do with that, especially if you're talking about AI, machine learning, and more.
With the recent revolutions of the AI and technology sectors, what would you advise a startup company in achieving success?
First of all, it's about building the company in the right fashion. Taking a concept and turning into a product is a long process. But it requires a structured process. So you need to be able to build the right kind of team, especially we're talking about deep technology and AI. You need to bring the experience, you need to bring the talent, you need to find the right kind of people. I think what we're seeing today, actually, there is a lot of challenges in finding the right kind of talent that come into the companies. You see also the salaries are going up. So basically, you really need to structure the company in the right fashion. You really need to make sure that your solution is something that the market is requiring. We, for instance, as a fund, we are having constantly discussions with the market. We're talking with multinational companies. Israel has almost 600 multinational companies set up in Israel. It's not just the Googles and Intels and so forth. And having discussion with them, understanding what they need and what they require, and structuring in the right fashion manner is crucial. So basically, if you want to build a company, you need to build it in the right fashion and understand the market needs, build the right kind of R&D team, source your talents, and you know, get the right kind of funding at the right stages also, which is very, very important. And we're obviously always looking for good startups like those.
Great to hear that. Thank you for your input. Mr. Ravindra, from your previous experiences, what is more important today, advancement in technology or the application of the technology?
Yeah, actually, before pandemic, you could see companies talk so much about technology. They would say, we are using that, we are the most innovative, we use AI, we use that, we use this. But the real situation today is to solve a problem. Take a problem and then apply AI to it, as opposed to just focus on the power of a technology. That's definitely required. But ultimately, if you just give you an example, when you use WhatsApp or Google search, do you see any technology there? You don't see anything. It's all actually behind the scene. So what is very relevant today is how a technology is applied and how is it solving a real life problem, as opposed to just have a technology which is having a superpower, but which is really not solving the real life problem. So to answer your question, it's super important to solve the problem on hand, especially post-pandemic, where we have a lot of things which needs to be accelerated, which needs to be thought in a different way.
Building on our previous discussion before the panel, will AI ever take over human intelligence, and will it be a tractor for humanity in the near future?
I think it's now becoming more of a challenge between man and machine. With artificial superintelligence, we are able to almost experience near human phenomenon. Okay? In fact, we have been working on ASI. We have created actually an avatar, and this avatar is so powerful. Just imagine, let us take any celebrity. For example, if I want Bill Gates or Sundar Pichai to actually teach me how to do some coding, how to learn Python from Mr. Sundar Pichai, it is quite possible to actually simulate that avatar and program it with the physical 3D face and voice. We are going to that extent already, okay? And this is always a constant situation of who is the best. And this is going to grow together, and I'm sure there will be a situation where there will be enough policies and controls that it doesn't actually overtake. Because we are in sync with the growth, humans and the machine.
Looking at how in sync that they need to be, what is the right age to enter AI?
Actually, there is no age to enter AI. Everybody can learn at any point of time. And I'm very happy to express one project in UAE. All of us know we are taught A for Apple. We were the first company to introduce A for AI. We have been teaching AI to grade 1 children from grade 1. So anybody in this world at any age can actually learn AI. It's very simple.
Great to hear that. And on a personal level, how have you utilized AI?
Actually, we have used AI for many industries: education, healthcare, fashion, mobility. But there was one very specific case. It was actually very, on a personal note, somebody were almost about to commit suicide. And I was actually on a video call. And in fact, we used that video and voice to actually analyze what are those nuances which are disturbing that person. And somewhere the signals were too steep. And we kind of jumped into action and ensured that that decision was not taken. So we really thank the technology sometimes that we're able to think not between the lines, behind the lines.
I think at today's age and time, it's very crucial to think outside the box and try to be innovative all the time. Thank you very much for your time. Moving to Mr. Michael Trapani. Welcome from far away. Our previous discussions, we were talking about the challenges that are in ML that you're trying to address. Can you elaborate further on that? We cannot hear you.
Seems like there's an audio problem. Can everyone hear me okay?
Okay, until that's fixed, we'll go to Mr. Angelo Daly, and we'll come back to you, Michael, in a minute. Mr. Angelo Daly, you're working on neurosymbolic AI and explainable AI, creating a new architecture for artificial intelligence. Can you please further elaborate on how that affects people reasoning? Okay, Mr. Ravindra, you said you like to use AI for healing with music. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Actually, there is a study by which when we play a certain frequency, it actually affects on the human brain. Sometimes you like some songs, sometimes you don't. And each person will like a set of songs and others don't. So we found a technology where we combine AI and music to understand which sets of frequencies are responsive for a person of autism. And once we are able to understand that, we calibrate. For example, what makes him happy, what makes him sad, what keeps him neutral. Okay? With that, we are able to engage and sometimes educate a person of autism. We found this study very interesting. We have started a small lab here in our office in Bujman Towers. Most of you are welcome. You can see how this actually works in action. And we could see that somebody who's having a speech problem, it's not actually in the speech, it's in the mind. So we were able to unlock certain areas of the mind for him to speak better. This is a combination of music, AI, and also to some extent blockchain, because we are trying to connect all autistic children in a network so that we are able to make their lives better.
Are you working with a specific center?
Yeah, actually we are all qualified. I have my post-graduation in autism, and we have a very good team here, and we started practicing this here.
Okay.
And on a personal note, Your Highness, somebody was asking me, will AI work here? How does it work? How much does it work? On a lighter side, I said in Dubai, AI will work 150% because it's already in the name. Dubai has AI in it already. So it's going to be super successful here.
Well, it should work great in UAE. Thank you very much. Oded, going back to you, regarding the fund investments that you have in deep technology, where do you see that going in the future here in UAE?
Well, I think one of the things I should have maybe mentioned before, and it actually relates to what you asked me right now. Well, if you go upstairs, there are 5 companies that came along with me. And each one has a different deep tech capacity and ability. We have Trustor, which you probably, who was here, you heard about him, is a contact company. They utilize AI to make construction sites better. We have Augmind, who has an amazing augmented reality solution. They're also upstairs here. They're utilizing that. And we have Airways, which is also providing a solution that also utilize in aviation for the drones, a control system, also utilize AI, and so forth. We have also Waterix, water management solutions, and now I have to be very careful, make sure that I didn't miss anybody out. And we have also My Tower, also, which is a property management solution, which is the future for managing solution for residential and commercials, also utilizing AI. So basically, all of these companies, all of these technologies came over here to the Emirates with our support, in order for them to provide solution to the market here in the Emirates, and hopefully also enjoy from all the Emirates has to offer to be a platform for further distribution in the GCC. So in my vision, I see, obviously I see from an investment point of view, seeing how we can do things better for humanity, for providing solution, and at the same time bring great ROI to our investors. and see how we can collaborate with this amazing opportunity that we have here after the Abraham Accords was signed between Israel and the Emirates, which is an amazing opportunity. So I'm really looking forward to see how we can do good together and succeed together with all the warmth and friendship that we're witnessing here from Your Excellency, Your Highness, and other people around here in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So very much looking forward for more.
You mentioned drones. The use of drones has been limited to specific areas worldwide. And how do you see that opening doors with your AI, and how would you be utilizing them here, UAE, and elsewhere in the world?
That's an excellent question. You know, everybody's talking about smart cities, okay? And we all understand that in order to work properly, you really need to have it regulated. So the regulators are actually pushing. You know, the company I mentioned is Airways, and the regulators are really pushing for a regulated solution where you can actually manage the airspace above the city, so you can get not just the delivery of pizza and ice cream, which is pretty cool, but also delivery of medical assistance, you know, transfer of COVID tests, for instance, and other aspects of security, police, and so forth. So the AI aspect here is to be able to help all this airspace, very, very crowded airspace above the city, and manage it in a much better way. So I think that, you know, all this talk about smart city, this is one big important aspect that needs to provide some kind of solution, and I believe that companies such like Airways has the ability to transform that. And I think that going towards 2023, it is going to be the last mile coming true. So looking forward to, you know, in that aspect, as well as the other company as well.
Any questions from the floor? Anybody would like to have a question? Please, a mic for the gentleman.
I just have a lot of lights on my eyes, so I cannot see too good.
Yeah, the lights are too hard, please.
Please.
We have two gentlemen, one here and the second row. Yes? And then a gentleman at the end of the row, please.
Hello. First of all, thank you. Thanks a lot for such amazing summit. The second thing is, as you guys are expert in AI, one of the questions always is in mind is that the AI can bring the cost of the life cheaper or expensive in the futures, because definitely the AI can help the innovations, can increase the improvement of the life, the simplest and everything. But one of the serious concerns that we saw within the past couple of years, as the technology grew, we find out that the cost of the life and cost of the technology and cost of the improvement day by day facing an inflation in the world. So I want to know your idea as you are the expert in AIs.
Please. Well, maybe we can ask one of those.
Yes, I'd pass on the question.
They should have a speaking opportunity as well.
Maybe we can ask Michael to answer that question.
But I agree with him. I agree with
Angelo, can we hear Angelo at least, one of them? Hi. Second attempt, please.
What do you think, Angelo?
Can you try and speak, Angelo, or Michael?
Hi, welcome, and I'm excited to be here, and hopefully you're hearing me well.
Any luck with Michael?
That's better.
Okay. Can you speak louder, please, Angelo? Can you please further elaborate on how the effects of people reasoning affects the world today?
Yes, excellent. So basically, in the past few years, I've been working in AI for the last 20 years. And one of the main problems in AI is the so-called black box problem, in which AI cannot explain how it is working, how you can actually trust it, how you can get to understand how it works, and how do you trust the answers that are given with AI? So one of the main things in having an AI system that can collaborate and can actually tell you how it works is that it will affect the way that future AI systems will collaborate with people, will work with people, and how people will reason and use AI systems. One of the main reasons is to make sure that AI is used as a tool to an end, as a tool that can work with people, allow them to trust it, and allow them to use the results from the AI in a good way for the benefit of society. I think that as time goes by, the fantasy visions of that are fueled by sci-fi of AI will become apparent. They will also change as we see AI as part of our daily lives. And this is one of the main reasons why we're creating this new AI architectures, to make sure that you can use AI as part of the daily life. There is a danger to this in how people will start reasoning, in that we will start abdicating our responsibility to AI. Some people tell me, for example, that AI should be taking decisions automatically on behalf of people. In some cases, if it is something that is maybe of very low impact, that is, of course, possibly okay. But where we have decisions that are being taken by AI that affect people, that affect the quality of life, I think this is something where we need to be careful to make sure that we control the AI, that we do not abdicate too much of our responsibility to it.
Great to hear that, Angelo. Michael, I'd like to ask you a question before we start running out of time. What are the challenges in ML that you're trying to address? And you are now working for a new kind of an AI company. How do you see this supporting the future of humanity?
That's a great question. I hope everyone can hear me okay. I'll assume so. Great.
Yes, great.
Great. So I think Angelo just brought up a very important point, which is effectively every AI that you have ever entrusted to make a decision cannot explain its decisions. And this becomes a really big problem when you're trying to entrust AI with the visions that we all have of AI being this world-changing, almost civilization-improving technology. What we need to do is insert people into that decision-making process. And that really needs to involve a different approach to AI that we have today. Right now, it is centralized around the machine learning and neural networks, deep learning technology. And as Angelo said, that is a black box. We cannot go inside and work backwards to determine why a system came to the decisions that it did. And so one of the things that I'm working on now, I work for a company called Elemental Cognition, which is founded by the inventor of IBM Watson. He left IBM to start a new type of AI company to try to solve this very problem. And I think to Angelo's point around abdicating our decision-making power, we cannot hold machines accountable for their decisions, but we can hold people accountable. And if we create a technology, a type of AI that only works with a human being involved in a decision process, where the human can go back, retrace the steps of the system that made the decision, and then make adjustments, collaborate, involve themselves in that process, well, then you can start holding a human, a person, accountable for that decision. They're just using a tool to help them make the decision. But at that stage, the person becomes responsible again. And that responsibility is essential for this type of intelligence to actually be used broadly. So I think that's a very exciting future. I think it's a departure from our current trajectory with artificial intelligence. And I think it's going to make the technology much more approachable and useful to all of us.
Thank you very much, Michael. I believe we have a question from His Highness.
Michael, how are you, Michael? It's nice to meet you.
Hi.
After a long time. How many years? I think 5 years? That
Yeah,
you were,
that's right.
yeah, 5 years. Mr. Angelo, thank you for this opportunity and to be here. We really thank Malta Ambassador for this great opportunity that she bring up. I have two questions to both of you. One question to Michael, one question to Angelo. Let's take this opportunity since both of you are available, because I know after you will be busy. It will be great opportunity that audience can listen. My first question to Michael, do you think that artificial intelligence can replace humans in the future?
It depends on how far in the future you look. I think the mission is not to necessarily replace human brains, but to augment and assist human brains in the same way that we use technology to augment and assist other organs of our body. For example, artificial hearts, which can keep us, alive, limbs and technology that can assist us in effectively doing something that without that technology, we would be unable to do. If you think about it, we are already connected from a knowledge standpoint to our technology. Think about every time you've been asked a question that you don't know the answer to. You think about it for 10 seconds, and then you pull out your phone and look it up. So in some ways, we are already connected to technology and a global source of knowledge. The question for us is to ensure that a technology that does assist us in making decisions does not remove us from that decision-making process, because what a machine cannot necessarily easily understand are some of the ethical and moral decisions and trends that change really with humanity over time. There are cultural decisions that a machine really needs to either be programmed to understand or change with humanity as that changes. Some things that we were okay with 50 years ago are not necessarily the same as they are today. So I think creating a system that can connect and empower human thinking, think of it as a thought partner, is really going to be the key to what the mission ultimately is.
Thank you, Michael. Now my second question to Mr. Angelo. Do you think that artificial intelligence, it is the future?
Yes, I think so. I think that our future is going to be involving AI for sure. Now, the question is also to what extent is the AI going to be involved in our future? I do feel that the current AI systems that cannot explain themselves are going to lead to a backlash. There are limitations in how much we can squeeze from them. Effectively, it is something that can predict what is going to happen, and you can get useful information, but we have to use new systems in order to be able to integrate them more closely within our day-to-day society. So one of the main areas that I have been working on is called neurosymbolic AI. And neurosymbolic AI allows AI systems to reason well, not reason in a sentient way, not in a conscious way, but at least in a closer way to how people actually think, which is by writing down symbols, by writing down equations, by writing down sentences that we can use to convey knowledge from one person to another. Once we have achieved this, there will be a lot of opportunity to make sure that society can use it in a very productive way. For example, if I can trust the AI, I can trust the basis of its decisions, I can use it in, say, medical diagnosis, in making sure my operations, transport operations, airport operations can run more efficiently. And I believe that once we have achieved this and we can go back, audit in case something goes wrong, place a clear responsibility, people will know how they're interacting with AI, and also understand and predict the behavior of AI systems. I think this will open up lots of possibilities of how we'll use AI in future society, both in education, both in day-to-day things, and also in governance, making sure that there are fair decisions that are then vetted by humans and always with people in control. We like to use the term human in the loop for what Michael was referring. And I think that As a result, society will become more efficient, more fair, and an important point is also that each society will be able to teach the AI what is acceptable to it, because obviously different cultures have different values. So I think this is also a nuance that has not been taken much into consideration with AI systems until recently. And it is something very important, because what may be acceptable, for example, bias towards one particular issue or another, may be acceptable in one culture, may not be acceptable in another. And I think AI needs to consider these points of view in order to be integrated in future society. But yes, I definitely believe that society is going to rely on AI heavily in the future.
Michael, Angelo, Odette, Krishna, thank you so much for this great opportunity and for this information, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure having you here on the panel, online and in live. And thank you for the questions, and have a nice afternoon.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks for this opportunity. Wonderful.
AI was an interesting conversation. You know, we hear so many scary things about it, but I think they put it in. I think they did a great job of putting it in perspective. Our next presentation is titled "Nano Future," and Edward Mosev is going to be leading that. So, welcome to the stage. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. Firstly, I want to say that I very appreciate organizers of summit. His Highness Sagar bin Mohammed Al Qasimi and Adnan Al Nurani for such opportunity to be here and represent our project, Nano Future. This project started in the spring of this year, but okay. I should be less. Okay, try. But it's as a result of many years and many people's preparation. We start this because the world is changed, really changed, and we need to new decisions, new system decisions, and try to think globally. That's why we are bringing our project here, because we are absolutely sure that most progressive place in the world, it's United Arab Emirates, exactly for innovation. Thank you for this. We name the same word, we use the same word like name summit, future, and innovation. For start, we use nano technologies because it's quite widespread. In all of our industries, all of our life, we can find the nano technologies and nano materials. And we decide to bring our competences, our experience, our technologies here, and hopefully take participation in Dubai Innovation Future in the future, also with our technologies. Our means not just our, it should be becoming our with United Arab Emirates, firstly, and after globally around the world. Our platform unite high-tech world, science and nanomaterial production. We use also blockchain. We use blockchain Stellar. It's not so popular blockchain like, for example, Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain, but it's blockchain which will used for CBDC, for central bank digital currencies. And we try to be experts in this blockchain, make also our extensions and functionality to use it for the protect artificial intellectual property rights, which was explained before by speakers. Use NFT blockchain for this and combine it with real technology, offline technology, which give the real sustainability and prosperity in the future. Our platform make attempt to make more effective, to implement such technologies in our nearest future life. Please, video. Could you switch on video? Video, please.
Nanomaterials and nanotechnologies find more and more applications in our lives. We face them everywhere. Face masks and medicine, lubricating oil, and most complicated chips and microcircuits for spaceships and modern equipment are made of nanomaterials. Even in your smartphone, more than a dozen components are made using nanomaterials. All of us are consumers of nanotechnologies. They are everywhere around us. And nowadays, we know they are the future. NanoFuture is an advanced blockchain platform that is intended to unite nanomaterial and nanotechnology development specialists and consumers. The platform creates a unified environment for IT, fintech, AI, and many other advanced technology projects to cooperate. Our company offers a variety of services and brings together three essential elements. 1. A launch platform for projects on the basis of nanotechnologies and nanomaterials. 2. A marketplace for the realization of future products and services as an outcome of the development of these projects. And 3. An analog financial and economic cluster with its tokenomics and settlement and custody system. The main payment instrument for NanoFuture platform development is token in NFT. NFT is an asset in the form of a token, providing functioning of a production ecosystem, commodity, and production trade, where nanomaterials are used. This asset is more than money, precious materials and jewels, promissory notes, and stocks. Our platform products find application in medicine, energetics, the space industry, electronics, and fertilizer production, as well as many other sectors. Participate with us in NanoFuture projects and multiply your assets. Take the first step toward the future right now. Become more successful and richer together with NanoFuture. NanoFuture, the future is here.
Thank you very much, and I want to give the word to my colleague, which explain about the next steps and extensions of our system decision. Thank you very much.
My name is Vasily Buzoev. Topic of my presentation is globally integrated ecosystem of inclusive territories development. We propose to build a multi-level territorial innovation ecosystem for sustainable development of the Gulf countries' global region. This approach can be applied to any global region. Okay, thank you. To any global region in the world. The name sounds sophisticated, and unfortunately I have got only 7 minutes. That's why I will run through all slides very fast, and please keep your attention on the main points. Probably you saw the levels of territories. It was meso level, it was sub-regional, it was state level, and supranational. The essence of our proposal. We propose to create a complex, multi-dimensional socio-economic space. Its main dimensions are the following: vertically scalable territorial innovative ecosystem, global innovation network as evolution of global value chains, global production networks, and the third dimension is information and communication framework or digital space to organize business and communications. On this slide you can see possible functional structure of this ecosystem. You can see service layer at the bottom, basic meso level, regional innovation and industrial level, and new globalization level. It's not reasonable to explain every it's not reasonable to explain every functional blocks, and probably it is for homework to examine it deeply. Next slide. Main components and specifics of ecosystem. It is differences. First of all, it is common digital space for direct communications that plan to be implemented as a hybrid network. Hybrid network means social plus business network. The second point, multi-purpose cognitive meta platform. It's the matter of separated presentation, but we have understanding, we have scholars and specialists to implement this different kind of artificial intelligence and specialized industry-based cognitive systems. The fourth one is the cooperation and servicing platform. It is some kind of basic services for everyone. On the lowest level of our ecosystem, we can see cross-sectoral partnership platform. It is a platform for communication business, authority, and territorial community. And the last one is innovation supporting platform. It is also, it is not portal, it is not place where investor can find some project. It is real ecosystem where all actors are involved and work together in order to organize all basic business process and complementary. This picture shows us how can be implemented cross-sectoral partnership platform. Due to lack of time, just look at this and I will proceed. Meso level can be equipped with the following services. Meso level can be organized around knowledge city. There's no form of agglomeration. And you can see the basic services that can be provided for this level especially. Subnational or regional level has also very interesting services, but just look at this and we follow to the next slide. At state level, we propose to implement up-to-date comprehensive version of a digital states, including functionality of government. And all related and basic and complementary platforms that can help us to build ecosystem. Supranational level, it's very interesting because at this level we can organize cross-boundary communication, cross-boundary business, and we can build a financial system with own electronic currency with a clearing nature. We can provide logistic platform, international platform for management, global value chain, global supply chain, and organize easy movement, money, other assets and goods through boundaries in case of adjustment legislation. Several words about International Financial Service Network. We see International Settlement Bank or group of servicing banks that can accept our currency and convert it into conventional currencies. We can build pan-Arab payment system that operate with e-currency of our ecosystem as the clearing currency. We can create new electronic marketplace providing financial services, not goods, technologies, but financial services, common for all participants. And of course, we can provide a system like SWIFT, independently from existing one. International Innovation Support Platform. Okay, thank you. Let me scroll. Very important slides, but I hope you can read it. New alignment approach, very important for innovation economy. And why global region is so important? Because only global region can provide enough resources and create requests to economy and can create it in self-sufficient manner. Its advantages, just look at this. And last slide, very important, how to organize it. Based on experience of BRICS countries, we see it the following: think tank, generate direction of development and ideas, coordination center, provide finance, investment, new business frameworks, and global project coordination. And all of them impact or influence self-organized business structure. And all participants can be involved in this. Thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you for that interesting presentation. We have a short presentation, 5 minutes, on the science of fashion. Can you come up now and walk us through your 5 minutes?
نمبر 1 طريق سالك في شجاع نمبر 1 صورة ماشية باكتساح نمبر 1 كل قفل ليه مفتاح العب 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 ولع لما شافني راح جري فلسع اتحدى اي حد اسمع قربك كلامي نازل يلسع نمبر 1 نمبر 1 نمبر 1
fashion industry is one of the world's most polluting industries. Clothes have become disposable. Fast fashion is a norm where we keep buying clothes, throwing away above 50% of the purchased items in the first year. Poor quality fabric, stains, perspiration marks, and out-of-mode style are the main cause of massive global disposal. Time to go back to the drawing table and reshape the fashion industry into a science fashion industry. At DAY2, our solution is integrating smart textiles as fundamental of our apparel, not only solving the main cause of disposal, but adding amazing features on top of our stylish collections. With outstanding qualities, our selected textiles meet international safety standards for users and environment. We outsourced the world for the best materials and partners and ask your opinion before our fashion items are even produced. Our outfits are stain and sweat resistant with moisture-wicking properties, highly breathable and comfortable with a dynamic stretch that results in low wrinkles. In case of spills, just rinse with water to clean. Easy care. We did mad testing to assure quality and performance. Where conventional upperwear complements bacterial growth, the main cause of yellow sweat rings that result in nasty odor under the armpits, our textile, instead of capturing perspiration, evacuates it. Yellow underarm stains caused by overtime sweating are diminished, together with the unpleasant odors. Some even enjoy our upperwear for days at a row before washing them. Enjoy the extended wearing. Besides the repellent properties, our apparel is machine washable. Our fabrics dry extremely fast. Not only practical as you save on washing and drying cost, but more eco-friendly as well. Our slogan, DAY2, you saved my day. So can we save yours too? Our hardest part is to make the collection easily accessible for great customers like you. Our aim is to develop amazing outfits for everyday use for years to come. And with your help, we are on the right track. How open-minded are you to back us so we can back you with science fashion?
بسم الله وعلى بركة الله سبحانه وتعالى. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, excellencies, royal highnesses, your highness, true pleasure to be in your midst today. As I am already running out of time, briefly, DAY2 Science Fashion has a history in providing our technology to create and develop SARS coronavirus neutralizing masks. In a world of panic, we helped a lot of people to be safe and secure. And now we set our targets to establish the fashion brand DAY2 Science Fashion. And DAY2 Science Fashion, my vision for it is that it will be the fashion brand of the future with a lot of innovations coming. This is only one of our collections, one of our editions based on hydrophobic nanotechnology. A lot of compositions are hidden from the public at this stage, and we look forward to establish good connections with distributors. We are looking forward to establish new partnerships, and to release these items of fashion, we need to have seed stage capital so we can accelerate business development. And in order for my vision to make the United Arab Emirates, especially the city of Dubai, fashion capital of the world, I would like to be established here in the United Arab Emirates, and we look forward to establish any partnerships. I'm upstairs. We have an exhibition, and if you have any interest, my partner, Mr. Mohammed Hamadi from Walter Partners, financial advisor, can give you all the answers for your financial questions. Thank you very much. Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, thank you for that excellent presentation. Fashion innovation. I think we've all would have loved to have had a shirt or a blouse like that at one time. Our next startup pitch, the world's first fully autonomous water leak detector. Mr. Yannick Friedman will be giving that presentation. Welcome to the stage. Give him a big hand.
Your Highness, Your Excellence, distinguished guests, I'm Yaniv, coming from Israel, from a startup called Watrix. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to talk about water, IoT, and AI. Water is the source of life. And throughout history, mankind has always settled next to drinking water sources like lakes and rivers. As technology, distribution technology emerged, we expanded to where water could reach and arrive. Now, generally speaking, this technology didn't change much since then. Of course, new pipes and pumps were invented, but in general, the concept didn't change that much. What did change dramatically is how we live, how we are arranged. A quick look around us, and well, we will admire the amazing, ambitious engineering, architecture, buildings, and projects here, which arise a lot of challenges with how to distribute water with so many water outlets in each building. Now, like everything in life, water has more sides to it. And in our case, with so many distribution points, we're talking about leaks. Water leaks, water actually, my friends, will find the slightest hole, the smallest crack to leak through and create enormous damage to property. How big a damage? Well, water leaks are the #1 damage cause to property in most developed countries, putting aside weather. Nearly $3 billion are paid annually only in the United States to cover claims caused by water leaks. And the claim ratio of water leaks keeps rising annually, year after year for the last 15 years, while other types of insurance decline. The reason is aging infrastructure and more and more outlets, water outlets in properties. Now, besides the financial issue, we're all here to talk about sustainability as well. So, another important goal is to stop water loss. The climate change has brought awareness to the fact that availability of water, and water is becoming a scarce resource. Coming from Israel, where water is a scarce resource, I was brought up with high awareness to water loss. However, only now the world is starting to realize this problem, and as I said, a goal for us is to stop pure water loss as well. Now, generally speaking about leaks, we find two types generally. You have the large leak, high flow rates, you can see it, you can hear it, and it's easy to stop if you detect it on time. Now, the tricky thing about this type of leaks is usually, or many times, they happen when nobody's there. The reason is because you're off for a vacation, it's after business hours, it's a construction site that was just left, and it's after the working hours. No taps are open, and there's no outlet. Pressure is no outlet from the system. And that's exactly when these leaks happen. You have several solutions trying to tackle this type of problem. The other type, which is much more dangerous and more challenging, are the tiny leaks, are the hidden leaks, what we call silent or small leaks. These leaks are invisible. They run under the floor, in the walls, behind the closet. You won't see them until it's too late. Once they become visible, well, it's when a neighbor comes in and says, I have mold on my wall, or the business downstairs says, I have a stain on the ceiling, dripping. That's too late. The damage is there. Now, mistake not by the title, small leak. A tiny leak as 50 cc's per minute. It's a dripping per second, accumulates to more than 300 showers a year. Now, multiply that by 400 or more tenants, and now you have the picture. So, stopping these tiny leaks as well is a challenge, an important challenge, and requires very accurate detection abilities and sensitivity. Now, on the other hand, we use water on a daily basis. We drink water, drink coffee, in my case, a lot of coffee. We shower, we bathe. You wouldn't want to get a leak alert for every flush of the toilet, would you? So, you need to be able to detect accurately and not cause too many false alerts. Not to create the cry wolf effect. When you will have an event, you will get an alert, but you will ignore it because you get too many alerts. So on top of the challenge of detecting accurately a small and a big leak, you need to be able to provide accurate alerts as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to introduce Watrix, the first fully autonomous water leak detection and prevention system. Watrix has an AI engine. We were talking before about AI. In this case, our AI engine is able, as a machine, to detect very, very accurately a small and a big leak, as it creates usage patterns for every location it is installed at, whether it's a business, a building, a construction site, a domestic house, a villa. It will learn how water is consumed in each and every location, and only when it will exceed these customizable thresholds, then you will receive an alert. As a safety system, it was designed under the concept of a fail-safe system, meaning that it is powered completely by an internal battery pack, which is replaceable. It will work for more than 3 years, fully operation, and it will detect alert and close an internal E-valve to cut off the water supply if we're detecting a leak and if you are not replying to the alerts you receive from the system. Now, you need connectivity in order to provide those alerts. We have an internal IoT SIM, so our connectivity is completely independent. It does not rely on unstable Wi-Fi or internet connection. Watrix will be there, connected to our cloud, providing your data in any case. Now, we're talking about a system, a large system. Watrix is flexible. It could be relevant for the single user via our app and our proprietary dashboard, and it integrates with any building management system. We have a full REST API. So currently, we support BACnet, but any building management system. And last but not least, data. A lot was said about data here, and we can provide all the consumption trends, analytics, and data to visualize whatever your company, organization requires regarding water usage. I need to conclude shortly, so I'll say that. Well, that was the slide about the visualization, but it can be customized, as I said. 3 major factors will affect the extent of a water leak in your property.
What we do is we tokenize with NFTs actual diamonds. So the diamond is represented by the token. The token is able to be traded freely, and the diamond stays safely in the vault, but the diamond always backs up the token. So if you ever want the real diamond, you redeem the token and out comes the diamond. This creates a lot of efficiency in the world of investment diamonds. That's what we're doing.
So hi everyone, good evening to everybody, and thank you so much for inviting us to be a part of this panel for an amazing event here in Future Innovation Summit. And my name is Veronica Andrino. I'm the founder and the president of Unifinity. What we are doing is that we are tokenizing the education landscape, wherein we provide the solution to the university and institution for them to be able to easily access the power of blockchain technology and smart contracts. We recently deployed different types of NFT solution as well as smart contracts for the institutions in issuing a unique blockchain-based certificates, which is fully verifiable on the blockchain itself with 2 layers of authentication method using the Merkle root, which also verifies the authenticity of the specific document. So this is how we're tokenizing and gamifying the certificate and credentials. Not to mention that we also digitized and created a solution for the virtual classroom so that the students will now be able to start earning points on their own traditional landscape using their attendance, performance in the schools, and so on. So this is how we are transitioning the current education landscape into the next generation of technology.
Hi to all. Thanks all of you that you are here now in the end of the second day. My name is Alex Bond. I'm co-founder of the Safe Hamsters project. We use NFT in our first 3D augmented reality blockchain-based game with upgradable NFTs. We have a lot of experience in different ways for using crypto and no crypto assets in our team, and now we decided to use NFT in this way.
Very nice, guys. So let's start with the first topic. You know, NFTs is not a new thing, actually. So I remember CryptoKitties games, which was organized just in 2017 during the first cryptocurrency hype, when Bitcoin was reaching 20,000. Exactly at this moment, CryptoKitties were absolutely popular.
We are consultants for blockchain and NFTs in Switzerland and Europe and also globally. So what I think, to get back to the discussion here with the panel, I think we've we're seeing a lot of really cool use cases coming out in the industry. I think it's the NFT technology. It's like it was said previously. It's about, in the first step, educating the market and then showing them, you know, how can we democratize this whole the situation with and different business models that are available.
So, okay guys, I'll make this one really quick. I know it's the end of the day. Before I begin, I want to tell you a really quick story. There was this man in 2018 who was on holiday in Sri Lanka. He was driving his motorcycle when he got hit by a van, T-boned by a van. He broke multiple bones on his body and he was left in a pool of blood. Luckily, the man survived by God's will, and it took him 1 year to recover, more than a year. In fact, he's still recovering today. But during the time he was in hospital recovering from all the broken bones in his body, it was sports that kept him going, and it is why he made this platform today. So he is now my client, and I am representing him. I'm the CEO of Luna PR, and we are glad to have him as our clients. I guess I was supposed to play this before I spoke. It's a bit gruesome, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But that Now, sport investing is an incredible platform that's based out of his passion for the sports industry. Now, why blockchain though? What is so special about this platform? Sport investing is built on the blockchain. So you've heard a lot about blockchain recently. You've heard about NFTs. NFTs are built on blockchain. And how it's changing the sports industry is that it's making tickets, collectibles, merchandise a lot more transparent, and it's enabled people to sell these things in a fair manner. Now, in addition, we just spoke about NFTs. They have an entirely new element to both sports and esports, and they allow brands to build real-world objects that are building the bridge between technology and the layman. Now, I'm going to talk more about sports investing. So, sorry, is there, oh yeah, that's better, thank you. Yeah, that's better. So basically, over the years, sports investing has had a mission to solve many solutions in the industry, to build an ecosystem for fans, by fans, where fans are enabled, fans are rewarded for their engagement, because these sports are nothing without the fans. Sports investing is an entire ecosystem platform that consists of 7 different verticals in their ecosystem. Market value token, which is the first one, as you can see on the screen over here. The market value token basically puts a value on a professional athlete or sports club, and it's pegged to the market price, which is evaluated using asset rating and specific formulas on ratings and websites.
My name is Hesham Hafiz, and I'm an author of a book called Global Innovator: How Nations Have Held and Lost Their Innovative Age. And in the book, we are talking about the most important thing, which is the first questions. We listen to innovation, 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 but what is innovation? If I ask this question to any one of you, he will give me a different answer and a different definition, because none of you can define exactly what innovation is. And I found out that we have to make a definition for innovation in order to understand what it is and to understand how can we teach that to our children, to our nations, co-workers, and even in your own family. Innovation is any new idea or adopted idea which can be executed to create value. It means if you have an idea
and you can execute the idea, but you cannot create value out of it, it's not an innovation, it's an illusion. And we created in the book an innovation model which is the process and the procedures how to be innovative. And we said the first thing to be innovative and to teach your kids to be innovative is observation. You have to observe the first thing around you, to observe everything.
Our vision is making blockchain as simple as online banking. Today we see hundreds of thousands of crypto assets that lost every day by people sending to their own address or by people simply losing control of their asset. According to chain analysis, 20% of all assets has been lost. 57% of the users actually saying that they lost or nearly lost crypto, and almost 90% say that it's very frightening to send asset crypto to someone else.
And my distinct honor to welcome you to the stage. Talking about perseverance. If you look up perseverance, your picture, your photo will be there. Thank you so much for understanding. Keynote speech from the Queen Diamba of Congo. Revised Proposal for Our Civilization is the title. Again, thank you. Let's give her a big hand, please. Huge hand.
Hello, everyone. I am Queen Diambi Kabatusula Chiyomoata. I am Mukalenga Mukajiwan Kashama of the Bakwaluntu people of Kasai in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I represent about 3 million people in the Congo. 1.5 million are on my territory of Dimbelenge in Kasai, and another 1.5 million is around the world, either in Congo or in Africa or anywhere else in the world. I am also Grande Mãe do Povo Bantu Brasileiro, which is a title of Great Mother or Queen of the African descendants of Brazil. So it's a traditional queen, linking Brazil and the African experience of Brazil with the continent of Africa. So there's about 114 million African descendants in Brazil, and we have now worked to connect each other back from Africa to Brazil. So this is who I stand in front of you on behalf of. And I'm very lucky to be the last speaker and to basically close with the mighty people who stayed all the way till the end. So it's an honor for me to be here. I salute, the work and the efforts of His Royal Highness who made this whole conference possible. I also thank all the people of the UAE for opening up a space that I hear is absolutely amazing, where people from all over the world are coming to, do a lot of good things. So the title of my presentation is kind of saying Africa may have a revised proposal for a civilization. And it's kind of bold, and you might say, wow, this is a future innovation summit. What would a revised view for our civilization really correspond? So I heard a lot of things about all this amazing innovation. We're talking about the future, and I am a Star Trek generation. I'm a Star Wars generation. I'm a Stargate generation. So of course, when I see and hear all these amazing innovation, it projects me where I can see myself flying around and having maybe being at several locations at the same time, and also understanding all the digitalization of every single aspect of our lives. And I stand in front of you also as a representative of ancient culture. You see me walking around, I have a scepter in my hand, I have a crown with cowrie shells, not gold, not diamond, really stuff from the forest and the nature. And I think that talking about the future wouldn't be fair if we didn't also talk about the past. Indeed, the future is going to be made of the results of all the decisions we are making today, and some of which we made yesterday. And as an representative of the continent of Africa, oftentimes in the conversation about the future, we don't speak about Africa. It seems like we think, there's nothing really in Africa. So, yes, maybe we will benefit from some technology, from, smart wallets or banking or some things like that. But Africa really, what's about Africa and innovation? And I think that it's my role to, today, talking about the future, also bringing a little bit of perspective about the past, because many people do not really know Africa. Many people do not know the contribution that Africa has done for the world civilization. There is an image deficit in Africa, and oftentimes when we think about Africa, we don't think of Africa as the terrain for a massive innovation. But yet again, Africa is where we have spent most of our lives as humans. So out of 200,000 years of existence, we have spent 130,000 years only on the continent. And after that, of course, many people remained on the continent and continued to work on innovations. So most of the tools for civilizations have actually come from Africa. Very few people know that mathematics come from Africa. In Congo, we are doing mathematics 25,000 years ago, not 2,000 years ago. I said 25,000 years ago, and we have the bone of Ishango to show it. And it was not simple math. It was quite complex when you have to study what the bone of Ishango is about. It's a tool, it's a calculator. So that's 25,000 years ago in the Congo. When we talk about innovation in technology, all of this has to be programmed. All these machines have to be programmed. All these computers in artificial intelligence, they have to be programmed. How are you programming a machine, if not the binary coding system? Where do you think the binary coding system comes from? It comes from Africa. Not yesterday, not 10 days ago, not 10 years ago, hundreds of years ago. The binary coding system is a system of how to store and codify information that comes from the continent. So those are kind of things that I think it's important to bring them around for people to understand that the African civilizations, the African cultures have contributed greatly. And I can go on talking about DNA. We call DNA Coco. Coco means ancestors, but it also means the DNA. And we know that the DNA contains much more than biological information. We know that DNA contains also other types of information. The fractal mathematics. You can go to MIT today and you will find the greatest mathematician going to Africa to study fractal mathematics. So what I'm trying to do here is to basically say to the innovators to really reconsider and think about including Africa in the conversation, not just as Africa, the poor parent, and not just Africa as the one place that we go to fetch and get all the good stuff so that we can build all the hardware for these future technology that we're talking about. Because Africa, even if we don't talk about it, it's right in the middle of this. Because every innovation that we have in technology is not just out there in the ether. Every technology has to be supported by hardware. Where do we find the material for the hardware? We find the material for the hardware in Africa. Therefore, what I'm asking people to do is to be mindful when we think about innovation, when we think about, inventions, when we think about, new things that we can invent. We have to also be mindful at what will be the cost of that invention, not just in terms of, how much money do I have to invest in this, but what will be the cost for the environment, and also what would be the cost for the people who are at the other end of our invention, of our ingenuity. To be a bit more sensible, to be a bit more understanding and aware that behind all of this, there is the human factor. I heard a lot of amazing things, and I want to congratulate everyone who was here coming to give proposals and solutions. And I find it absolutely amazing, and I congratulate all the successful people for all the hard work that they do. But I would like to hear more about the human element in here. I did hear some talking about AI, and of course the human element. I heard about smart city, and people said, no, not so much smart city, but conscious city. That means that in everything, we always have to bring the human in the middle of it and always ask ourselves the question, is it wise? Because too often, the Western world, the Western civilization proposal has often been about being smart. How smart can we be? Yeah, we can invent machines that goes and fly to the moon. We can invent bombs that can explode this planet 60,000 times. We can have trains that go so fast. We can have, so it's like we have a thirst for, novelty, which I understand because it's innate in us. But oftentimes we are missing one point. We are missing to invite wisdom among us. So to all the inventors and to all the scientists and to all the people who want to go and put their capital and the investment behind projects, I want to encourage that you always ask yourself, is it wise? Because if you have inventions without wisdom, then you have a greater propensity to create a lot of aberration and then to create more problems down the line. Because too many inventions that were solutions for problems ended up creating more problems. Like I would say just like plastic, for instance. And I know that because in Congo, we have a major problem with plastic. So this is why wisdom is important to bring around the table. And this is why, as a representative of an ancient, people, ancient civilization, and also as the chairperson of the World Indigenous Forum, I encourage people who are on the innovation side to also join hand with the people who are on the traditional and cultural side, so we can work together and create a better world that is not only about this futuristic, sci-fi type thing, but also how we can live on this planet in harmony. Because the future of humanity is not necessarily going to be in some flying machines and in all these electronics and all these, things. It's fine. But the future of humanity will be on our capacity to reconcile with nature, to reconcile with living in harmony with the nature we have. So this is really the message that I wanted to say, saying that from Africa, because we are people who always had great reverence for nature, and we always develop our civilization being mindful that we always have to make sure that everything we do has to be in a logic of regeneration of nature and not extreme exploitation of nature. So this is why I'm here, and I'm thanking you for your attention. I'm thanking you for being there till now to listen to me speak, and I also wish you an amazing evening, and I hope to see you and hug and kiss you later on today. I'm being asked to close out the conference, so I will take this honor because the Sheikh is not here, so I'm going to stand as proxy, from the royal family, since I'm a royal sister, to really close down this amazing event. That was quite mind-boggling to see all these new stuff. I absolutely love the clothes that don't get wet. Imagine me, I'm thinking, oh, my fashion now, because I'm in fashion as well. I will think about doing something with them. So thank you, everyone, every single participant, every single person who came just to listen, every speaker, every person who came to pitch their idea, every investor that were here to think about where to put their money next, every person in the technical team, every people that organized, and the master of ceremonies and the moderators that were here. So I want to thank everyone on behalf of the Sheikh, and the family of Al-Qasimi who organized this. And I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you.
Pretty good on short notice, right?
Thank you.